Wall Street just got a fresh jolt. Tesla soared after Elon Musk's billion-dollar stock buy. Nvidia wrestled with China's antitrust ruling. And the Dow eked out gains as trade talks with Beijing moved forward. Markets opened Monday on shaky ground but managed to find their footing by the close. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ticked 0.1% higher, lifted by Amazon, Apple, and IBM. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq led with a 0.9% gain, fueled by strong tech names like Seagate and Western Digital. Oil prices rose on supply concerns, Treasury yields slipped, and small caps added modest strength with the Russell 2000 climbing 0.3%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and other major indexes rose Monday after President Donald Trump touted progress in China trade talks. Nvidia (NVDA) found bullish support while Tesla (TSLA) surged on a move by Chief Executive Elon Musk. Meanwhile, Uber Technologies (Uber) and a Warren Buffett stock were among equities that tested by points on the stock market today. The Dow weaved between positive and negative territory and ended the session 0.1% higher. Amazon.com, AMZN. Apple AAPL and IBM, fared best here, with each up more than 1%. Nvidia came off lows and ended with a marginal loss despite the government of China ruling that it broke antitrust laws. McDonald's, MCD, lost the most among blue chips, down 1.1%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq composite was strongest among the major indexes as it moved up 0.9%. Seagate Technology, STX, and Western Digital, WDC, were two of the top performers on the tech-heavy index, rising nearly 8% and almost 5%, respectively. They were boosted after the latter firm raised prices on all hard drives due to unprecedented demand. Stock market today. Com services. IBD 50 shined that S&P 500 gained by a more modest 0.5%. The benchmark index's sectors were mixed, with communication services, consumer discretionary and technology leading advancing groups. Healthcare and consumer staples lagged by the most. Small caps also rose, with the Russell 2000 tacking on 0.3%. Growth stocks outperformed, with the innovator IBD 50, FFTY, exchange-traded fund popping more than 1%. The 10-year Treasury yield slipped 2 points to 4.04%. Oil prices rose following attacks on Russian energy facilities, with West Texas Intermediate futures up 1%. Near $63.35 per barrel, Tesla pops on Elon Musk move. Nvidia gets support. A couple of stocks making noteworthy on the stock market today were Tesla and Nvidia. However, it got bullish support at the 10-week moving average. It comes as the stock eyes a flat base by point of 184.48 on its weekly chart. Overall performance remains exceptional for Nvidia stock, with its IBD composite rating sitting at a near-ideal 98. Warren Buffett stock tests entry. There were a few other issues that managed to test by points on the stock market today. Warren Buffett stock Capital One, COF, moved nearly 2% higher and tested a cup with handle entry of 228.16, according to Market Surge analysis. It is currently just below the buy point. This is a first-stage pattern, which is a bonus. IBD research shows that younger bases have a better chance of netting good gains for investors. The consumer loans play is a strong all-around performer, with its composite rating sitting at 94 out of 99. Earnings are a key strength, with its earnings per share rating also at 94. It has made a good gain so far in 2025, rising about 22%. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB, owns 7.15 million shares at the most recent count, a stake currently worth just over $1.60 billion. Elsewhere, Oppenheimer, OPY, moved more than 2% higher and cleared a cup base by point of 77.83. It currently trades within the actionable zone. The wealth management and investment banking stock is among the top 14% of issues in terms of price performance over the past 12 months. It has already risen more than 11% so far this year. Texas Instruments. On some lag after China move. Nvidia may have grabbed the headlines, but a few other semiconductor stocks were also getting hit following a move by Chinese regulators. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce is initiating an anti-dumping probe into imports of analog integrated circuit chips originating in the US. These chips tend to be used in automobiles and in industrial capacities as opposed to the highly advanced artificial intelligence chips made by the likes of Nvidia and Advanced Micro Devices. AMD, Texas Instruments, TXN, was one of the stocks worst hit, falling more than 3% on the stock market today. This caused the stock to gap down and lose ground on its 200-day moving average. IT was also weighing on ON Semiconductor, ON, though its drop of more than 1% was less severe. The fact that it reversed lower will have disappointed investors, though Analog Devices, ADI, was well off session lows but remained down 0.1%. NXP Semiconductors, NXPI, managed to turn higher, though its lift was fractional. Nevertheless, these declines were in contrast to the positive action in the broader industry. The SPDR S&P Semiconductor, XSD, exchange-traded fund was up almost 2%. Gold stock hits by Zonuba was not the only equity that was trying to stage a breakout amid Monday's positive action. Royal Gold, RGLD, moved up nearly 3% and is in a buy zone after clearing a consolidation entry of 191.78. Market surge analysis shows. However, investors should note that the stock sits more than 15% above its 50-day moving average. The fact that it's high above this key benchmark makes buying the breakout more risky. Overall performance is exceptional, with the stock holding a best possible IBD composite rating of 99. Earnings are expected to rise 49% in 2025. For the precious metals royalty and streaming company, while it is only in the top 22% of equities in terms of price performance over the past 12 months, it has risen more than 29% so far this year, surging nearly 5%. Financial software stock Pagaya Technologies, PGY, is also offering an entry as it clears a weekly chart cut base by point of 41.48. The relative strength line is hitting fresh heights, a bullish sign. Earnings are seen falling 1% this year for the Israeli company, which is headquartered in New York. However, earnings are then expected to rebound to 95% growth next year. Trump suggests this big stock market change. A key moment for any investor is when a company whose stock they hold reports quarterly results. However, Trump has called for an end to the practice, claiming it prevents management from taking a more long-term view. Companies should move from posting quarterly results to making biannual reports, Trump said Monday in a Truth Social post. This will save money and allow managers to focus on properly running their companies, Trump said. Reporting quarterly is not good, he said, and claimed that Chinese firms have a 50 to 100-year view on management of a company. Publicly traded companies have been required to submit quarterly earnings reports since 1970. Any such proposal could face opposition, as in addition to posting results, quarterly earnings calls also allow analysts to quiz executives on strategic direction. Investors are willing to pay for quarterly reports because they know it is decision useful, Sandy Peters, head of financial reporting policy at the CFA Institute, told the Financial Times. Uber stock clears by point with Investors Business Daily continuing to recommend exposure at the 80% to 100% level. It remains a good time to buy equities clearing proper by points. Uber stock was one name making such a bullish move on the stock market today. It is clearing a cup with handle entry of 97.54. According to Market Surge Analysis, 0.1 potential floor is the fact this is a fourth stage base. IBD research shows later stage patterns are less likely to net good gains for investors. Nevertheless, the stock has much to like. It holds an IBD composite rating of 94 out of 99, reflecting excellent all-around performance. The stock ranks among the top 14% of issues in terms of price performance over the past 12 months. Earnings performance is currently its Achilles heel. It holds an earnings per share rating of 75 out of 99. Full-year earnings are seen falling 36% this week before rising 23% in 2026. Big money has been adding to holdings of late, with its accumulation distribution rating sitting at C+. In total, 48% of shares are held by funds. Trump touts China progress stocks were given a shot in the arm amid more progress in trade talks between the US and China. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent led the American team for discussions held in Madrid, Spain. The big trade meeting in Europe between the United States of America and China has gone very well. It will be concluding shortly, Trump said in a Truth Social post. One key stumbling block has been over the ownership of social media network TikTok. But Bessent signaled that important progress has been made on this front. He told reporters a framework is now in place for a switch to US-controlled ownership. He also said that commercial terms have been agreed upon. Expect further progress when President Trump speaks with Chinese President Xi Jinping Friday to discuss terms. Trump said in his post that their relationship remains a very strong one. Stock market today. manufacturing gauge reverses the New York Fed's Empire State Manufacturing Index fell to a -8.7 reading versus the prior reading 11.9. This was the first negative print since June and came in well below economist views for 4.3, according to Econoday. Negative figures represent contraction. The index is an important measure of business conditions in the state. Both new orders and shipments suffered significant declines. Nasdaq 100 winners. Losers: ASML, Alphabet, Texas Instruments among the Nasdaq 100 stocks. ASML, and Alphabet GOOGL were some of the best performers in morning trading, up more than 3% each. ASML is breaking out past a 826.56 by point. Meanwhile, Texas Instruments, TXN, tumbled more than 3% to hit its lowest level since May 23. Stock market today. Dow Jones movers inside the blue chip index. Amazon.com, AMZN, Apple, AAPL, IBM, and Microsoft MSFT were among the early pre-market movers. Amazon stock rallied 1% pre-market Monday, looking to rebound from its 50-day moving average amid a 3-day losing streak. Apple shares were up 1.4%, set to retake a 235.12 by point. And IBM gained 1%, attempting to retake its 50-day line. On the downside, Microsoft shares dropped 0.6%, threatening to snap a 5-day winning streak that has the stock back at the 50-day line. Stock market today. Nvidia falls on China ruling Nvidia. Stock declined more than 1% pre-market Monday after China ruled in a preliminary investigation that the artificial intelligence giant broke antitrust laws with its 2020 acquisition of Mellanox Technologies. Shares of Nvidia are forming a flat base with a 184.48 by point as they regained their 50-day moving average last week. Tesla stock surges on Elon Musk stock purchases. Tesla, TSLA. Stock jumped more than 7% pre-market Monday after Musk disclosed purchases of 2.6 million shares worth about $1 billion made on Friday. That's his first purchase on the open market since February 2020. Last week, shares hurdled past a 367.71 by point, according to IBD Market Surge. Ending out of the buy zone. Stock market today. Fed meeting looms. The Fed's policy meeting Wednesday takes the spotlight this week. A quarter-point rate cut is a lock, with negligible odds of a half-point cut. However, stalling labor markets and benign inflation reports have nearly cemented odds for 75 basis points cut by year-end. That would lower the Fed's key rate to a range of 3.5% to 3.75%. The real Fed meeting suspense will be what new rate projections say for 2026. Markets are pricing in a year-end 2026 federal funds rate of 2.95%, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell and many of his colleagues may be unsure if the neutral interest rate, one that neither boosts nor constricts growth, is that low. Yet President Donald Trump could soon get a majority on the Fed Board of Governors. Elsewhere, key earnings reports this week include Darden Restaurants, DRI, FedEx, FDX, and Lena, LEN. But the real fireworks came from individual movers. Tesla jumped more than 7% after Musk disclosed a rare $1 billion share purchase, his first since 2020. Nvidia, despite pressure from Chinese regulators, held key support levels, keeping investor confidence intact. Warren Buffett-backed Capital One also tested a crucial buy point, signaling strong earnings momentum. On the flip side, Texas Instruments and onsemi stumbled after Beijing launched an anti-dumping probe into U.S. chip imports. The week ahead holds more catalysts: a Federal Reserve meeting, Trump's push to change earnings reporting rules, and key company results from FedEx and Darden Restaurants. With the market split between opportunity and risk, investors should stay disciplined, watch for confirmed breakouts, and keep an eye on sector rotation. So where do you see the next big move? Tech's rebound, Buffett's bets, or oil's rise? Share your thoughts below.